Hello Jordan, welcome to your feedback video for Computer Arts Practice. My aim here is to give you some video feedback on the portfolio of final pieces that you submitted recently for the module. And obviously the following material is of course private to you via the link that I have provided. However, you may choose to share this video if you really wish. Just be careful, of course, where you share it and who you share it with. That's all I'll really say about that. What I'm going to do is actually switch over to your work after talking about the project that you submitted. Overall, I think the project you submitted is actually quite a complex submission because there's a huge collection of materials here, largely to do with your sketchbook, as you were planning to pitch this presentation to Tide Games. I think ultimately one of the things that we talked about over the course of the semester was that sort of project confusion. You know, was this an arts project or was it a game design project? And I think that might be some of the tension that we feel inside this submission, is that there really is a direct correlation between, obviously what you wanted this project to be and what I wanted it to be. Ultimately, the project is ultimately your presentation. It's about what you delivered, and I think what I'll say off the bat is how impressed I am at the presentation style and confidence that you showed to Tide Games. I think that video was particularly excellent, and I think on that alone, you have a lot of project commitment, dedication, and there's a lot of learning in your practice that has happened. So in many ways, there's a lot of stuff here that's going on that actually keeps me reasonably satisfied with the direction of your practice. But I'm going to say some things about the artwork along the way because I have to, and I think ultimately as a computer arts project, I think some comment has to be focused on the quality of work that you're producing versus the design intentions that you had. So I'll go over some of the stuff quite quickly. I'll just switch over here to Photoshop so you can see your work. And I think one of the sort of reoccurring themes of commentary throughout the semester was this, this excellent sketchbook that you kept. It was always filled with ideas and research, yet I think you were somewhat tepid in dedicating yourself to the digital art side of things, which is something I really want to encourage you more of in the future. But I think I'm not going to push the matter too much, because I think in terms of feedback, I'm trying to, what I'm trying to do here is identify, you as a practitioner and the things that you do using computer arts as your means to do that. I actually think there's a lot of success here. I think I'm largely impressed with how you've actually dealt with some of the issues, despite some of the quality of the artwork that you've submitted. So I think, as far as sketches and ideation goes, there's actually a lot of stuff here that we can, we can appreciate as a way of kind of seeing inside your mind a little bit. So I've just stacked this up inside one Photoshop file just to make it easier to go through, and I think throughout the process there's one thing that became clear to me, is that your imagination is vivid and your ability to think about designs and concepts is certainly very strong. One area that certainly needs more work though is your ability to render those ideas out more believably, so that we can see how they would really look in a final situation. So there's a lot of good stuff going on, but your skills do need to be pushed, and I would say pushed a lot harder. Now that can sometimes be a really difficult thing to hear or to listen to, but you have to remember is that I have your interests absolutely at front and center, and so what I'm trying to do is get you to realize that actually embracing some of the digital techniques and formats actually will help you achieve those visions. Of course, a lot of hard work and practice along the way is necessary too. So I think ultimately, the sketchbook work overall had some really great ideas, and especially when it came to these the vehicles and the designs of those vehicles, pertinent to the pitch presentation that you delivered. And so I think overall, there's actually a really great project in here. I just think how it was framed throughout the semester was probably quite confusing. But ultimately, what I really want to do is just let you know that I really do appreciate how you work and the reasons why you work as well. But I think overall, I really want you to think about the next few months, and of course about fourth year, and how you're going to push your actual design and presentation skills forward even further. So especially, I really actually quite like those designs. So you can see here, I'll just zoom up a little bit just so we can see those things there as well. Of course, you took some photos of your sketchbooks. One thing I'll say about the presentation style is that it's quite rough. I think you should spend more time actually cropping these images so that they sit better on screen. Make sure that they're nice and neat and tidy. The actual pictures themselves are pretty clear. You just need to straighten up and tidy them up a little bit more, just so people can really see what's going on in there. Some really good stuff. A lot of research, a lot of color, a lot of pages like this really show me that you have this great imagination. I really just wish you would sort of spend a bit more time taking those ideas much further down the design pipeline. But ultimately, it's this bit. This is where I really start to see the real Jordan. This is great stuff, and you're getting closer towards the sort of expectations I might have. Excellent stuff. So anyway, I went through the presentation as well. I'm just going to pull that up just so you can see it. And I think one thing that was worth noting is that throughout that presentation as well is that one thing that you kind of leave out of the general rhythm is actually things like, you know, the art and the art style, things that you've talked about in other modules quite successfully. I think I would love to see that sort of stuff in here. There's a mention of it here in terms of identity, but I think overall one thing that's not actually presented in this presentation is you know, concept art, or you know, a final art mock screenshot, something that really does determine the final quality and look of the game. So I think definitely need to kind of nudge that in there somewhere. But it's really great to see you talking about sort of really other key areas about game and game design. So I watched the presentation. It's quite long, and so one thing I wanted to say is actually the way you present was very professional. The actual presentation itself was really solid. Maybe some slides could be divided up into about 2 or 3 just to kind of slow down that pace of information. But I really do think, you know, ultimately I think this is, I'm going to say this is a good project. I can't, there's areas that I want to fault it that I don't think are worthwhile at this rate. I think what you have achieved is bigger than what you haven't. And that must stand for something, especially the considerable amount of work that you poured into this. So what I'll do is I'll leave it there at some point and just kind of maybe catch up with you at some point in the future. I think I want you to know this is good work and that you should keep it up, but be aware that in the future those things that are holding you back, such as the drawing, the digital art stuff, is going to have to be identified and worked upon a lot harder. But anyway, I want to say well done for a solid submission. Thank you very much for your time. I hope some of those comments are helpful. Goodbye.